our half guard, as boring as today seems, or as mundane, or as simple, or as basic, it is one of the most important parts of jiu-jitsu. If you don't have a good half guard, you're never going to have good pressure. You're never going to hold people down properly. And the theories or the parts that make good half guard control and getting to it work will apply in other positions. So when you're good at it, it will translate through to being better at holding them down in half guard, better at mount, better at those other positions, because you understand, you know, and you're good at that half guard. Okay, so starting from the top, half guard position. Let's just look at where we want to end up. We want to end up with our knee under his arm, our leg above his knee right here, my shoulder on his chin right here, and underhooked on the far side. Whether my hands are locked or I'm just grabbing onto the gi right here, or just like this are fine. Depends on what transition I want. But this is going to be one of my best spots that I can be for my half guard position. The question is, how do we get here, right? This looks great, but how do we get to this position? Well, for me, we're going to check 5 things off the list. When we do them, we're going to do them in order, right? If when I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these things, I lose one, I'm going to take a step back and reestablish control and then keep moving ahead. I'm not just going to keep moving ahead, right? It's like the first step in this is getting control of real half guard above his knee. What I mean by that is any guard where I'm below his knee is actually a 3/4 or an open guard for him, right? There's no points right here, and I'm in danger. A lot of his best moves he has off his back come from this open or 3/4 guard position, right? So the first thing is I need to establish the half guard. How do I determine the difference between the two? It's this knee. It's the control below is 3/4 or open guard. The control above it right here is now half guard. So the first thing I want to practice is being up right here, and he has his open guard. Maybe he has his feet together. He doesn't want us to do it. So I'm just going to take his foot and I'm going to trap it right between my knees right here. So if he starts to try and pull it out or move or whatever he's doing, it's stuck right here. Right? Next is I need to get above his knee. Right? I don't want to skip this step, because if I go to the third step, which is get control of his chin, all of a sudden he's got his legs in. I'm not in the position I need to be. I need to get above his knee right here. So I'm going to trap. I'm going to take and push and get myself above. And even if he puts this knee across, if I can get above, it's not going to matter to me, right? Depending on how hard he does it, but it's not going to matter to me. From here, I'm going to take, pushing the knee right here across, and then I'm going to take and control his chin somehow, whether it's grabbing the lapel, my favorite way, and probably the way that's going to happen, because as soon as I do this right here, he's going to reach down and start pushing on my knee, because that's what everybody does. So I'm going to reach up and grab his collar. I'm going to turn my forearm on and get control of the chin and make sure that I'm squeezing my thighs right here. I can cross my feet, but if I do, I still need to make sure I'm squeezing my thighs. So if he's trying to pull his leg out, it's stuck right there. And I have his back stuck on the ground because I have control of his chin right here. Next is a transition that's important, right? I can't go anywhere if I'm trapped all the way down here, but I have a brief second where I can take in transition. Instead of having my forearm on his chin right here, I'm going to take in transition and move my shoulder to his chin right here. So there's step 1 is getting above his knee. Step 2, getting control of his chin. Step 3 is going to be getting under his near arm or under his near armpit. So most people, if they're smart, are going to have their arm to their body right here. So I can't just bring this up right here. So what I'm going to do is take and roll him away from me. So it creates this arm off the ground in a small space right here. And now my leg will take and go up underneath it right there. Does that make sense? When I get control of the chin and the near arm, I don't need to pinch the leg anymore down here. Because as soon as he starts trying to do anything with his legs or put him anywhere, it's going to put me in a position to be able to escape my leg because of those 2 control points, right? So starting off right here, trapping the foot, getting above the knee, flattening him out. Okay, transitioning to shoulder control on his chin, rolling him away from me, bringing my knee up inside so I have good control right there. And then last would be getting my underhook right here, right? Even if he was trying to get an underhook, I could still take and get my underhook position. Or if he's giving me too much guff over it, I could take and put my other hand and make sure I'm monitoring all those things. So we're just gonna move to, first of all, our correct control position, making sure we're going step in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 is getting above the knee. 2, control of the chin. 3, the near arm. 4, underhook on the far side. What was number 5? Was there even a 5th one?
Well, it was the first one was the neck, and then replacement with the shoulder, I think, was your 3 and 4, and 5th was the
there's nothing worse than saying five things to check off 20 times, and there's 4 things to check off. All right, girl partner.
The shoulder.
Go. Oh my God.
No, there was definitely. I missed it.
All right, so what we found so far is that if we grab onto this and we get above, usually what's going to happen when I get above his leg right here is his hand's going to come down and start pushing on my knee. That's the fight knee, and I don't care. Yeah, no problem. So we find ourselves right here pushing above. Not everybody's going to push right here. Some people realize they're still in a pretty decent position right here, and that where the action is keeping their back off the ground, keeping themselves sideways, not giving me control of their chin, right? Which is really what this is all boiling down to. He thinks it's right here and it's not. It's me getting control of that's going to finalize it. So I go right here, and instead of pushing on my knee, he starts blocking me right here. He grabs my wrist, my elbow, he uses both of his hands, and all of a sudden, I'm not in a good spot right here. His leg can start working, all these different things can start working. So I need a strategy to overcome this. Well, I still want to do the same thing. I still want to get his back on the ground by using his chin. However, I can't use these ones anymore. This one is pretty hard to do that, especially if he knows that I'm trying to get control of his chin. So one of my favorites is always going to be putting my head down and brushing it, putting my head right here, exactly where my forearm would have been, to flatten him out. I can't get that right there, so I put my head down and I flatten him out this way. When this happens, he pulls onto my arm. He can't. This can get too far away from him. So now we can make our transfer up to our position right here. This is what we call using your head. Right. We call it warning. Did I smash him with my head? I headbutt him at all, right? I put it. It's exactly like if I was going to go push with my hand on his face, I wouldn't go and push him like that, right? There's a lot more dire consequences of doing that with your head. So we have to make sure when we're using our head as an implement that we're extra careful to not bang on people, right? So when this is going on, I'm making sure that I stop short of it, and then I'm going up slowly till I feel exactly the part of his head that I want. Right? I'm not pushing on a random spot. I'm finding the contact, even if he's right down here, with his jaw and turning him flat over here. The same thing I was doing with my forearm, and then I'm going to do with my shoulder. Right? So he's controlling my near arm right here. I'm using my head to flatten him out, getting my hand back, and then getting myself into my half guard position. So using our head to get to our final position. Grab a partner, go.